This is Mastering Mathematics with your teacher, Karen Weston.
Hello Antigua, Barbuda and the rest of the world. Welcome again to another in the series, Mastering Mathematics. Yes, we have grown up because we are now on our last leg, and we are now going to use an inverse method to show how we can solve simultaneous equations. What did we say the examiners would be asking first? Yes, to write it in the form AX is equal to B. And as we know, this is a program sponsored by the Ministry of Education using its EE unit and our Center for Mathematics Education and ABS Television. We are going to make certain that you know all the time you could do this thing, but it was just to get the right person to show you what you knew. Latent talent is now coming to the front. And challenge those children, yes. And again, I'm imploring you, start teaching your children that in the academic world, they have to concentrate one thing at a time. You can't be in the classroom and wondering what suit you're going to wear to the party tonight, and the teacher is there teaching. You can't be in the classroom and wondering if your mommy remembered to leave the $100 for you. All right? One thing at a time. Parents tell them you will take care of any other. And of course, who will? The Lord God Almighty. So why are we worrying? One thing you have to do in an academic setting, listen. And you have to eyeball what is being taught. But you can't be all over and you're sitting here and you're just here in body but not in mind and soul. It does not work that way. Okay? And everybody knows when you're lying because your body motion, your actions and your body signs cannot hide. And a teacher, worth his or her salt, knows that you're not paying attention, knows that what is being said is not being registered. You have to be prepared for this. And in this manner, I would like to give credence to the Barbudan students. When I get them in the classroom and we say we are going to be doing mathematics, I am the one that have to ask them to go and take a break. Those children listen. They know what it is to want to get something. All right? And of course, we are going to try our best because Barbuda, we have something to sell to the rest of the world and to show that as Barbudans, we can pass mathematics. And let me just thank the parents who sent those children out to classes on a Saturday. And for Mrs. Mussington, who has given up her time to come out on a Saturday. And most of all, to Family Dentistry, Maxwell Francis and his associates, who have kindly sponsored this trip to make certain that we can go beyond and spread education into a communal aspect in Barbuda. Good morning to the students and students at Holy Trinity too, because they too are willing themselves on to make certain that they can make a spark in the academic world. In Antigua, Barbuda, guys and all teachers, we are working hard. Yes, we still have some things to prove, and it's all gonna come together. It is gonna come together. Keep up the good word and remember to put God first in everything that we are doing. Here, Jet and I are going to show you that we can make mathematics an doorstep experience and something that you're going to embrace, because now you're going to use an inverse method to solve a matrix problem. Yesterday, I showed you what do we need? 3 steps in terms of dressing up that simultaneous equation to prepare it to use a matrix method to solve it. All right? And we said we had to construct 3 matrices, 2 columns, and a 2 by 2. The 2 by 2 matrix, which is the first one, we'll be getting from the coefficient of our variables. And then we would bring forth our variables in a column matrix, and then we would put the constant terms after the equal sign in a column matrix form too, so that we would get our 2 marks for the first part of that question to say write the simultaneous matrix in the form AX is equal to B. And here we have done it. Last night I told you to see if you could do this one. It is 5x and it is plus 3y is equal to negative 7, and it is 3x plus 4y is equal to 0. Okay, and I know my 94-old Miss Shepherd in All Saints, she is working this problem. I know Miss Wire in Newfield in St. Philip is working this problem. And I know also my two ladies at All Saints working this problem. And my police guy that sells those snow cones working this problem. So Jetta, we have to get it right here. And these people on the street, my people at Multipurpose, yeah, if he's the only Rasta friend I have, he's working this problem. So let us go. Students, don't let them beat you to it. Okay? What did we do? And you said, Miss Weston, we took as if we just erase the x's and the y's. And so our numbers, so we had 5, 3, 3, and 4 as our first matrix. And I would say, very good, that's right. Second matrix, we said we had the variables, and it was x, y, and I would say, lovely. And you write equal, and you say, just put a bracket around our 7 and our 0. So when the roll is called down yonder, yes, writing it in that form, CXC have to give us our 2 points because it is now in the form AX is equal to B. Alright? So you got that. Good. Now, the third equation, what did we have? That was 3x, and it is plus 2y is equal to 1, and it is x plus 4y is equal to negative 3. And I start to sing, Pampalele, ha-ha. Are they going to get it? I wonder. Now, am I hearing them? What are we writing here? And it is going to be matrix, matrix. Jetta, do you think they're going to have trouble for anything here? Okay, Jetta says no, so I have to believe him. I don't believe him too much, though, you know, because I see an X staring me in my face here. I wonder. Now, what am I writing here? So I will put back the 3. I will put back the 2. What am I putting here, Jetta, when I have X?
1.
Oh. Did you hear him? Yes. The X on its own means 1x, but as mathematicians, we don't write no 1. Because as soon as they see that, they know you're no mathematician. You hear me? It must be understood. So anywhere you just see x, you know the coefficient here is a 1. If you just see x plus y, yes, the coefficients are 1s. Very good. Now I'm going to see how many of them may tell me that they got it right and they knew that. Okay? So x on its own here means 1. Okay? And then it is your original xy, and it's equal to 1 negative 3. And again, we put our brackets and we say yes, because 6 he has asked us to write it in the form a, or it can be ab, it doesn't have to be s, alright, is equal to c. And it can be pc is equal to d. You know that you have 2 matrices multiplied together is equal to a single matrix on the side, okay? And so you will have 2 letters, 1 letter. And you know right away that that is what it has to be. All right, so we know how to transform our simultaneous equation to prepare them to use a matrix method. There's a little concept here that I have to sell you, and I'm going to send you for your little break so that you can come back eased up, tension out, and you're ready to listen to take in this part of it. because once you have that, you are clear. All right? So take a little break, and I'll be right back to take you through the other aspect of using the inverse method to solve your simultaneous equation.
Don't look on what I cannot do. Focus on what I can do. I may not say what I do, but I can hear and feel it as strongly.
I may not hear, but that does not and should not affect my ability to learn and to function in the real world.
I am a gifted student. I need the opportunity to soar. Support me in my climb to higher levels of learning.
Some of our children have special educational needs. They have a right to an education. So let us teach them the way that they learn and help them to achieve their full potential.
Complete all readings and especially homework assignments as soon as possible after they are announced. And definitely complete all assignments before new material is covered. This ensures that the information is fresh in your mind and linked to more basic concepts previously learned. Do your assignments early enough to allow you to get help with the things you do not understand.
Hello, right, so we're back and we're ready to take off. And how could I have forgotten my friend Miss Thomas? Yes, that's Lucinda's mommy from Bethesda, who is watching, okay? Does not miss a day. So we are now taking them 94 years and so forth, you know, and they are watching. Oh my gosh. And my friend, yes, he's a retired college tutor now. He is watching too. Okay, so let's go. Given any simultaneous equation, we can write it in the form of ax is equal to b. Now, having gotten it in this form, so you have 8354 times xy is equal to 2, -3. You know, of course, what do we want to find? We want to find the value of the letters. And it operates along the same way that if I had 2x is equal to 6, and I want to find x, I would have been saying x is equal to 6 divided by 2. So whatever the coefficient is, we would divide it by the number on the other side. The principle is the same here too. We are going to say that it is xy would now be equal to, and I'm going to write that it is 2 -3, and it is of course divided by, it will be the 8, the 3, the 5, the 4. If I had to write it like this, this would be committing a sin in the mathematics world, because Matrices says, do not take me around the world. Division is the inverse of multiplication. All right? Hear them? Division is the inverse of multiplication. So when I wrote x is equal to 6 divided by 2, Matrix would say, just write it is 1/2 times 6. Okay? So they would want me to write for this one that the inverse, and listen carefully, when we are writing the inverse of a coefficient, it is written not as 1 over for them. They want it to be the index form of it, 2 to the negative 1 times 6. So the inverse, another way of writing it, the inverse. So if I have inverse of A, it can be written as A to the negative 1. All right? So that when I have this matrices here, and this matrix here, and I want to get the inverse, all I'm doing is do the negative 1 here. But with the solving of the simultaneous equation, it is the inverse that is written first. So we have 8, 3, 5, 4, and then times our 2, negative 3. Okay, I took you here to show you why it is that we're writing it in terms of that and saying we are finding the inverse. Okay, based on our principle that we know already, if you have 2x is equal to 6, if we want to find x, which is 1x, we are dividing by the coefficient. The same thing happens here too. This 2 by 2 matrix can be referred to as the coefficient for our xy variables, and therefore if we want to find xy, we must divide the number over here. And this time our number over here is a column matrix. We must divide it by the coefficient matrix, which is this one. However, we do not use that term divide. We say we must find the inverse. We must find the inverse of the coefficient matrix and then multiply it by the constant term. So let us take you through that again, because you know it already. It's not a difficult concept. Okay? When we have it in this form, 8, 3, 5, 4 times xy is equal to 2, negative 3. Using this principle that we know, we leave the variable on one side and we say xy is equal to the number times the inverse of the coefficient term times the number that we have on that side. And so our task now is to find what is the inverse of this matrix. What is the operation involved in finding the inverse of that matrix? Okay? Now this is where we're going to pause, because we're going to spend 2 little sessions showing you how do we find the inverse of a matrix. Notice what I said I am not doing. I'm not going to give you any big exercise that you're just saying, oh, today we're finding the inverse of a matrix. We have done that. I have done that. But it just comes to me because when I examine what happened last year, I was still looking for a higher percentage pass, And my only reason can and is that we're teaching them the concept. They have the information, but where do they use it in the examination paper, in the question? And that, I think, we need to work a little tighter with teachers. So don't give them just the operation that you say, tonight we're doing determinants, tonight we're doing inverse. Go straight to the exam question. Go, let them analyze that question. What is the operation that is involved for this particular information? And then we pause, take an aside, and show them how it is done. All right? So you're not going to say, I did those things so long ago, I didn't know that is what you had to use. And that is what it called for. Show them immediately, on the spot, how the operation is used. And that's the technique, a new teaching strategy that I want to introduce in terms of teaching them certain things when it comes to algebraic equations and using this principle for solving the mathematics. Yesterday I saw something that could make me cry, because then we tell our children, or you tell our children that how they can't do mathematics. How could a teacher in one class, in one session, be teaching the sine rule and the cosine rule together? Not because you think it's just something that is just a formula or something. Give the children time to absorb what is. And especially when both of them are new. How can you be teaching sine rule and cosine rule in the same exercise, in the same class, and then you give the children and you give them an information and you expect them to know, all of them to know? That can't be right. Just cannot be right. Take time. See to it that they get one concept, and then afterward, challenge some people. But don't have it as an exercise that you're teaching sine rule and cosine rule together. They're not all sparks. Okay? Let us remember the slowest person in the class. All right. Now, let's get back here. Because you're going to tell me, what did I say you have to do when you're solving the matrix? Dress it up, first of all. Make it look like something that's going into a matrix world. So we know to write it as a times x is equal to a number. Leave the variable on one side, and it is the inverse of this coefficient 2 by 2 matrix that we have to multiply by the constant term. And then we would be using our equality property to solve the simultaneous equation. I am going to take a time now to tell you how do we find the inverse of any given matrix. Any given matrix. So take your books out because you're writing this and we're saying given matrix A, which is equal to little a, B, C, D. These are the elements, okay? Instead of the numbers, I'm giving you a general's form. Inverse, and don't forget we say write it, inverse A. I'm putting the word inverse in brackets so that you know. Inverse of A is equal to, and it is 1 over, and I'm writing this word, determinant. Determinant of A, determinant of A, and it is multiplied by the adjoint of A. Adjoint. Wow, that looks like a mouthful, but no, it is easy. Just wait, let me show you. Okay? So, if we are given any matrix A, which has generalized elements A, B, C, D, A inverse is equal to 1 over the determinant of A times the adjoint of A. What is this determinant we're talking about? So that's 1. 2, determinant of A is equal to, watch me, it is A times D, so it is A, D, minus, and these two elements, B, C. So it's as if we're going on a cross where you have A times D, minus, and it is B times C. So it's the first number multiplied by the last number, minus the second number times the third number. Okay? So we're just writing the formulas now. So it is determinant of A is equal to AD minus BC. So for example, if Z was equal to 3, 4, 5, 6, then we would say determinant, which is small z, dt, dtz is equal to, and what would it be? Let's go up here. Det z would be equal to using the 3, 4, 5, 6 matrix. 3 times 6 minus 4 times 5. As easy as that. 3 times 6 minus 4 times 5. Okay? When Z is equal to that matrix, the determinant of Z is equal to 3 times 6 minus 4 times 5. So it would just be 18 minus 20, which is equal to negative 2. Just make up any matrix for yourself and see that you can find the determinant. And just before we close, I want to give you the adjoints too, so that we have them. So next week we'll start right there. Because bravo, you've nearly conquered everything. And the adjoint now, 3. Oh, the adjoint. So given A, so given matrix A, which is equal elements A, B, C, D, then the adjoint of A is equal to, yes, you have to watch. The first number would go in the last position, and the last number would come up to the first position. And all we do, change the lives of number 2 and number 3. So if they were positives, they're now negatives. Okay? So again, let's repeat that. To find the adjoint, we interchange the first and the last number in their position. So if they're negative, everything changes. Okay? And then we leave these in the same position, but we just change the signs to the opposite. If they were positive, as they were here, they become negatives. All right? So an example here, if I had R is equal to 2, negative 3, 4, 8, let's say negative 8 here, then the adjoint of R would be equal to negative 8 comes up to the top, 2 goes to the bottom. This is negative 3, so we change it, it becomes a positive 3. This was a positive 4, it becomes a negative 4. And that is the adjoint. And that is all we are doing. All right? So I'm sending you this weekend to practice how to get the determinant, how to get the adjoint of, and it is the same matrix. All right? So, yes, we are on our way, because we are learning the formula to say to find the inverse of any given matrix is just 1 over your determinant times the adjoint. Formula for the determinant given a general equation ABCD is AD minus BC. And the adjoint, our little verse that says, the first shall be last and the last shall be first, change the lives of these 2 people. Okay? And that will give us our adjoint. Aren't we grown up? Yes. And aren't we laughing? Yes. This is what you couldn't do all the time. But this is what you're going to have fun competing and racing sooner or later in 1 week to solving all the simultaneous equations that they're going to give you, asking you to use a matrix method. So, until next time, keep God in front of you and ask Him for wisdom and understanding. Teach your children to listen to the teachers and to become single-minded in an academic situation. The world is depending on them, and you are giving them all that they need, but you can't give them all without differentiating how, when, and where they're going to use certain of these things that you're giving them. Let wisdom and knowledge be your guide, and God will take care of anything else. So until next time, this is Karen Weston with cameraman Jetta saying, do enjoy the rest of the week and keep on growing, because we are mathematicians.
Join us next time for another in the series, Mastering Mathematics, a production of the Education Broadcasting Unit in the Ministry of Education and ABS TV.